Hello everybody and welcome to the Top Producer Show. So our mission is to educate, equip, and train servant leaders. Our vision is to create financially independent achievers, and our purpose is to help people grow. And right now we're going over the book by Grant Cardone, If You're Not First, You Are Last. And we are on chapter 12 today, which is Expand Acceptable Client Profile. But before we jump into that, we're going to go ahead and invite some people onto here. And also, I know there was a couple extra people who said that they wanted the updates for this show. Some of the people I might have to tag directly, so if you guys could leave a comment to let me know that, hey, I would like to be added to the list of invites, so that way I can go back and make sure that we're getting all the invites to you guys. Or send me a message and let me know that, hey, I want to be added to this list, so that way I can remember.
Send me a rainbow. I know Becky said she wanted to.
Becky wanted the invite. Okay.
And Shamala.
Yep, I already got Shamala. All right. There we go.
All right, so we're on chapter 12. Benny's here. What's up, sir? It's great to have you on with us. I see. Oh, Hung Larson. Hello. So expand acceptable client profile. That's the chapter we're on, chapter 12. Most of the people whom I work with have a set of mental or written guidelines that determine which customers they desire and which they do not. Meaning, you're like, this is your ideal profile. While you may not be conscious of these parameters, they may have a negative impact when things start to tighten up. A depression economy or personal business turndown requires that you relinquish any restrictions about your ideal preferred client customer. For example, let's say that you normally only work with Fortune 500 companies. You may want to consider taking smaller companies on. When economic contractions change, all of your earlier considerations and actions need to change along with them. The other day, I drove 6 hours round trip, basically to present to 8 people. Sometimes that wouldn't have been something I do. So how do you relate this to direct sales, network marketing, your own business? It says now is a time to be prepared to change past decisions in order to achieve the goal of advancing and conquering. It's not the time to hold on to any beliefs from the past that will keep you from moving forward. Let's say, for example, and he goes into example, how far are you willing to take this? It's up to you. If, for example, you normally have a minimum project fee of $1,000, you might accept $500 assignments, but you probably would not take on $50 assignments. So he's like, it has to be within reason, has to make sense. Get real during economic contractions and know that you will have to make adjustments along the way. You think the people whom you're willing to work with and how you're going to conduct your business. So you kind of have to have a written plan out of what you're going to do. You may not even be aware of some of the things that are holding you back. So you may have to do some digging, ask yourself why you don't do business with any particular zip code, area, etc., etc. Start looking for new markets and clients and spend your energy, resources to determine what you have to do to actually get them. You may uncover hidden consideration or agreement not to approach that sector, or you may end up, that's the sector you approach. Forget yesterday and keep all your attention on what you're doing to create a new tomorrow. The good news is during a recession and during a turndown, the great news is that direct sales and network marketing take off faster. For those of you who don't know that, if you look over network marketing's 100-year past, after World War II, when things started to explode, network marketing took off just because everything took off. The baby boomer generation was being born at that point. People came back from war. They're like, let's get a house, let's get kids, let's get, things moving. And, that boomed the economy. So people were looking for extra money, extra ways to do things. During the next contraction, the 70s, the late 70s, early 80s, there was a huge contraction. During that time, network marketing exploded. The end of the 80s, early 90s was another explosion. And then, 90s through about 2004 or 5, it seemed like the economy started doing well, except for, Y2K. Y2K, the economy kind of had a year or two that kind of dipped up and down. And everybody thought everything was going to be good. And then 2008, 9, and 10 happened. And again, there were companies that came out during that time that it just exploded and took off. What do you think is going to happen this time? This time it's going to take off again. It's going to get huge. More and more people are going to be open to it because as the economy tightens up, as taxes go up, as people can't make as much money, this last year, of course, a lot of people were just completely out of work. But I think you don't also keep in mind all the people that were working that had second jobs, that their second job was eliminated. So there's less household income. There's people who are looking for opportunity and they're willing to do things that they were never willing to do prior to the pandemic. They're at least open to the idea of, yeah, that makes sense. And you have to kind of remind people, because I've been telling people, this is just kind of my rule, is that you're currently working for me to recruit you. You're currently working. We believe in, you have your job to pay your bills, put food on the table, put, a roof over your head, make sure, the utilities are paid, make sure you have a car and gas money. That's the basics, right? You have to have the basics taken care of. But once you have the basics taken care of, direct sales, network marketing, MLM, whatever you want to call it, work from home, those things are there to get you ahead. And when I have these conversations with people are like, yeah, that does make sense. I said, doesn't it make sense that every job that you've ever had, you've never been able to get ahead? And they were like, yeah. I said, you know why? And they're like, I don't know. Some people have an answer, most people don't. I said, because jobs were never meant to get ahead. Jobs were meant to keep you where you're at. It was just to maintain where you're at. It never was built to get you ahead. So this is something to do to get ahead. So go get a job. Go get stable. Give it 90 days. And the reason I say 90 days is because within 90 days, you go from, oh my God, this is the best job in the world, to, shit, I have to go to work. I mean, that's about how long it takes. Oh my God, I have to go do this. I said at that point, you'll be ready. And that's when I'd rather recruit somebody. Now, have I recruited people who have nothing? Yeah. But then I have to go through the, hey, are you going to keep ordering? Are you going to, fall out of the system? You don't have $20, those kind of conversations.
They don't have a ride to the event.
Yeah, I can't get somewhere. I can't do this. I can't do that. And it's just, people who are in that circumstance usually are, they just don't have the right frame of mind. They're definitely not going to be attractive to other people. They won't be able to attract other people. And this is a business of attraction. The best people in the industry usually are able to build when it's, when it's attractive. It's like, wow, you have your stuff together, you have a car, you have a house, you have, a place to live. And here's the thing, I've got friends that built without cars, that lived in trailers, that didn't have utilities, and they made it. I'm not saying you can't do it. I'm just saying you're making it harder for yourself. That, by the way, that person, it took 10 years for them to get their shit together to be able to take off and do it. And I'm not saying that it can't happen. I'm just saying, are you willing to wait around the 2 years, 5 years, 10 years to make them get into a situation where they're ready to go? So forget about yesterday and keep your attention on what you're doing to create a new tomorrow. Recessing and rehashing your list of potential clients should be an operating basis at all times, but even more critical when things contract. So you're just going over who do you have right now and who do they know, because the best possible new person that you could bring onto your team, or the best possible new client that you could bring on if you're in real estate or whatever, is going to be through a referral. So it's really getting in front of these people. So expand acceptable client profile. Why would you want to open up restrictions on those whom you consider doing business with during contractions? It's called twice as much work for the same money, or twice as much work for existing money. People don't realize, you're going to put in the work one way or another. People just try to, there's always something better. There's always something new. There's always something shiny. And people sometimes relate new and shiny and everything to ideal or easy. I'm like, no, you're just replacing one for the other. You're going to do the work anyway. If you want to make bigger money, you're going to replace one work with another work. It's going to take work. There is no, oh, this is going to be so much better. This is going to be so much easier. I mean, I always laugh when people tell me that, and then I watch them go do it. And I'm like, Next, write down a list of clients with whom you have previously preferred not to work with or spoken to. So he's like, if clients are like, well, I only want to do half of what your minimum is, you might be willing to talk with them and bring them in and kind of work them up. What if I help you expand your business? And then last, make a list of clients with whom you would be willing to work with now in order to put this action into place and grow your business so it's acceptable. 13. So chapter 13 is effective marketing campaigns. We're going to be talking about that mañana. That would be Thursday. But that's what we got for today. Expand your client profile. Really dig deep. Get to know people. And that's one of the main things, is get to know people. Indirect sales and network marketing, get to know people and know who they know. John Maxwell said the best question that he ever learned how to ask was this: who do you know that I should know that you can introduce me to? That's like the best question ever. Who do you know that I should know that you can introduce me to? In John Maxwell's case, that introduced him to John Wooden, one of the guys that he knew. I still remember the story. He was having lunch with him, and the guy's like, well, I know John Wooden. Would you like to meet him? Yes. And, he spent basically the last period of years, he was able to meet with him, I want to say less than a half a dozen times, but when he did, he spent hours with him. And a lot of John Maxwell's teachings and trainings came from those conversations. So with that being said, we're going to wrap this up like a burrito. Brandy, anything else?
So if you guys haven't yet, you want to go to the Top Producer Show Facebook page, and you want to go join that page, and also go join us on YouTube. Each one of these videos is going to be uploaded to there, so that way you guys can go back and rewatch this. And we are 2 days away from 10X. So we're going to be going over that. So Friday is when it starts. We will do the show first, and then we're going to be going into the 10X training that is going to be online. We won't be broadcasting that for you, but on Monday we will have an overview of what we learned this weekend. So just as a reminder, you guys will want to stay tuned for that as well, and we will see you guys tomorrow.